Today we're going to deal with negative exponents and what we do with negative exponents. Prior to this, I'll pick a color here before we get started. And before we even get started on negative exponents, let's just consider what took place when we dealt with positive exponents. So I don't know, let's say 2 to the third power here. That brush is a bit thick, so I'm going to make it more of a fine point. Let's say I did 2 to the third power. Well, what is that really asking me to do? Man, that brush is just thick. I wonder if there's a way. Let's do that. So I'm going to scribble all this out. And let's go to 2 to the third power still. What I'm really asking is, what happens, what's the exponent 3 telling me to do to my base, which is 2, my base. What's the exponent telling me to do? And it's saying, hey, multiply repeatedly and multiply 2 by itself 3 times. Well, that ends up equaling 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. But what if I deal with something such as 2 to the negative third power? 2 to the negative third power, the first thing I want to ask myself is, what's this mean? What's it asking me to do? Well, 2 to the positive third power said multiply. 2 to the negative third power is telling me to do the opposite, and instead of multiply, let's divide. So the way that I'm going to do this is to do the inverse, the opposite. But I need to make my exponent positive, and the way to do that is to write the reciprocal. I'm going to write 1 over 2 to the third power. There's this famous property, and the property says a power with a negative exponent, so negative 3, equals, so this equals 1 divided by that power with its exponent that is opposite. So it equals the power, but with the opposite exponent. Well, we have a negative exponent here, so it's going to be a positive exponent down below 1, under 1. Well, this ends up becoming 1 over 2 times 2 times 2. And I end up with 1 over 2 times 2 times 2. We found out earlier is 8, so 1 over 8. Box my solution. Let's look at one more here. Let's say that I have negative 2 to the negative third power. What ends up happening here? Negative 2 to the negative third power. The first thing I see automatically, it stands out big and bold, is the negative exponent, which tells me right off the bat I'm doing the opposite of multiplication. I'm doing repeated division. So any number with a negative exponent is equal to 1 over that power with a positive exponent. So any number with a negative exponent equals 1 over this power with the negative exponent, with the opposite exponent. One more time, I'll repeat that one more time. Any number with a negative exponent equals that power with the opposite exponent. The opposite is positive 3. Well, moving forward, one last step. Negative 2 multiplied by itself 3 times becomes negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which ends up being negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2 equals negative 8. This ends up equaling 1 over 8, but it is negative because I have an odd number of negative symbols.